Good day guys, your might Aries Tao here. So today, the topic I received from Godox is how to shoot in a less ideal natural light scenario and fix them by flash. One of the most common problems a professional photographer need to deal with is midday sun. The reason is that when we shoot for a campaign, for a new collection, it's usually 30 to 40 dresses during the day, which means you have to shoot about 8 hours. Shoot golden hours on in is not practical, especially you have a full team of couple models, you have a makeup artist, a stylist, and camping manager on set. So I have to shoot during the midday. This is one of the typical scenario that sun is directly behind the camera and the light is hitting on the model's face, and there's some harsh shadows under the nose, under the neck. I will show you how to fix them with reflector, but it's not ideal. One of the reasons is reflector is on constant light. It's very hard for model to open their eyes. And the number two, reflector is much more painful to constant adjusting on the model's face, and it's only fill up the shadow on face area. And you have to stay relevantly close. If you want to use reflector, you might get away with close up, but you wouldn't have enough light for half body or full body, because essentially there's no sun to bounce if the sun is behind the camera. And it's a way easier to fix this with off-camera flash. I use AD1200 just because I work with professional models. With faster recycling time, I have this convenience, get the job done more efficiently, but you can absolutely get away with AD300 too. Here, with the sun behind the photographer, right? You can almost see the shadows of the photographer. So if you raise the lights up and high, especially with umbrella, it's very hard to avoid the shadows in the image. So what I do is put the lights as low as possible. Just imagine it as a reflector to reflect the lights back to the model's face. That way, you create this clamshell lighting with sun as top lights, as a harsh lights, but the umbrella or softbox as a soft light source. You see lots of this in the beauty or makeup campaigns. You need 300 watts at least. Sometimes I find myself have a full power from time to time to create a few lights for midday sun. So we are very lucky today because it's low tide. This cave only shows a couple of days in a month with very low tide. Even that this is the right timing for the low tide of the day, the sun is way too high because it's almost midday. So what I do here is to use AD1200Pro to mimic the sun and use AD300Pro as a few lights to bring out the clothing details so that we have much less contrast on the model. But we're very lucky because as soon as we finish the shot, the tide's already come up. So I feel like with flash, it's so convenient because I only have to worry about, the best composition or maybe the lowest tide. I don't have to worry about, I have to shoot this at golden hour, which is impossible in this particular location. Here you're probably going to see in the video, the sun is up and high and it's coming from side, which makes a split light on my face. So it's not really ideal, right? In terms of sun's direction. So I decided to use AD1200 to fix the sun and to create, butterfly lighting, short lighting, or Rembrandt lighting. And of course, you can also use AD1200 to create this hair lights if that works for you. And if you, like me, you want a bit more skin details, like you want a bit more shadow details in her skin and her dress, then you probably want to add in another lights with umbrella to fill in the shadows. In this scenario, AD300 is enough. Backlight is another common situation we are dealing with, but it's different from golden hours because the sun is pretty high. You can see the highlights area on my head, on my ear, on my chin, on my shoulder. I use two lights, but you can get away with one, right? You can get away with AD300 plus umbrella to bring her few lights. And then, if you can have another light as a harsh light source to bring the texture, that will blend better with the sun. Because sun essentially is a harsh light source. This harsh light mixing with soft light sort of technique is commonly used in fashion photography, but mostly indoor. I find that it works really well with outdoor too. Between mix harsh and your soft lights is just make sure those two lights are in the same axis as much as possible. If you can stack them together, here I only have one assistant, so I try to keep them at one direction but not the same height. But if you can keep them at the same height, it works even better. In conclusion, we learned about how to deal with midday sun on a beach shoot sort of scenario. Natural light is pretty beautiful. It's always good to have multiple arrows in your quill. We learned about lighting with the sun behind the camera. We learned about the lighting with the sun as a backlight on the models. We learned about the lighting in the shadows with the sun coming from the side. We learned about, if the sun is hiding behind a cloud or sun is too high, and how to recreate a sunlight in the cave. Comments below what you want to learn in my next talk. This is your Aries Tao. I will see you guys in the next episode.